Welcome everybody to Detecting History, and I'm so happy to be joined here by Murray, part of the Bearded Bleeper crew. Welcome, Murray. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I've been looking forward to this for ages.
I have been as well, and it's been a big build-up because I know there's a special event that we're going to talk about in a minute happening in February. But for those of you that are listening on the podcast platforms, go and check out the YouTube channel as well, because I tell you what, Murray has come with his uniform on today. He's got a brilliant t-shirt on, all about the Bearded Bleepers. Fantastic. It's so lovely to have you here, and I just love having all different guests on. And I especially like it when I get people that are in my part of the world as well. You're quite near to where I am in Hampshire, aren't you? Whereabouts are you located?
Yeah, so I'm at Epsom Downs, which is perfect location actually, because where I am, it's just just walk out the end of my road, and then you've got the Surrey Hills, which kind of
Yeah.
start. So that's where we mainly detect the Surrey Hills.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic area, really beautiful. A lot of land there. We've got quite a few permissions. So yeah, that's our home all around the Surrey Hills.
There you go. Lovely stuff. And how did you discover metal detecting in the first place?
Right. Well, I had a couple of false starts with metal detecting. I first went out. I think it was just casting my mind back, probably back in about '92. I used to belong to a medieval sword fighting group, and two of the chaps there went out metal detecting. They took me out a couple of times. So I didn't have a detector, but I just sort of went along as curious. And they were sort of hoiking out Roman coins and all sorts. And I never
Yeah.
really got the bug then, but sort of fast forwards to, I think it was 2013, I bought my own metal detector, and I
Yeah.
joined a group called the Surrey Searchers.
Yes.
But I went along to a couple of their meetings, but I never ended up going out. Kind of life got in the way. I had my kids. It just wasn't the right time. And then I've got I've got the same group of friends I had at school, and we all play Dungeons and Dragons every
Yeah.
Friday. And we were playing one night, and we got talking about the detectorists. So we were like thinking, it's a really good series, and we love watching it. And we're thinking, well, we've got the Surrey Hills on our doorstep, and we've got lots of land, and we thought, well, why not? Let's give it a go. So we all invested in metal detectors, and so off we went and got the bug from there.
Amazing. Yeah, it's funny how many people have that kind of false start when it comes to metal detecting. They sort of get introduced to it somehow, and then, like you say, sometimes it's like the right thing but the wrong time, and then they get back to it and they actually get into it later.
Yeah, you've definitely got to have the time, haven't you, to be able to sort of dedicate to it and go out. 'Cause it is time. It is a time-consuming hobby. You need like a day a week or go a couple of times a month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You do. It's I think sometimes people underestimate sort of the physical nature of it as well. So it's not just about, the hours you put into it, but then also for me, especially, it does exhaust you kind of for the rest of the day. It's not like you can fit it in around taking the kids to activities and doing the grocery shop and everything else. You've got to sort of have a life or a partner that allows you to go and sort of dedicate that day to go and do
yeah,
the detect.
definitely. Can you remember the first time you went out and how you felt afterwards? I,
Like I've
I
done a
was I was
marathon.
wrecked for a week, I think, aching, and yeah, it takes a while to build up the sort of muscle memory, doesn't it? And
It
get over
really
those.
does. Yeah. I've tracked myself a few times, and, like, I've been out all day, and when you track your steps, it doesn't look that impressive, does it? But then when you look at the time you've been out, and then you count the amount of bits you've got, scrap included, and you get to, like, 100 items, you've dug 100 holes. So, yeah, it's good old comprehensive workout, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, we haven't been out yet this year, so I'm hoping that when I start it again, I think I'm going to go out next week. But I haven't
Yeah.
lost all that kind of, the muscle and everything, and it's not starting all over again. I'm going to go achy for another week.
That's
Fingers
it. It's a
crossed for that.
swinging arm. Yeah, have the ache of the right or left bicep, whichever arm you use for sure. So, when you first started then, so when you were first introduced to metal detecting, the detectors would have been the big ones with the big old batteries, and then when you really started, you bought yourself your own detector. Which one did you start off with?
All gold, right? Okay, so I started off with the Ace 150, the Garrett, and
Yeah.
that I think that lasted a couple of outings.
Yeah.
Then I upgraded to the Vanquish 540, which is fantastic. That's a great machine.
Yep.
Had that for a year. That did me really well. And I've moved on now to the Equinox 900, which it is a game changer when you start,
Oh,
when you're looking at spending like 1,000 plus on a detector, you
yeah.
can see where the money goes, and that's got me loads of cool finds, and I've loved using that.
Yeah. You're the first person I've had on with the Knox 900, so welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Usually DS2 or Manticore at the moment. That's the sort of ones that people plump for. So what do you think the main difference is for the 900 compared to, say, the 700 or the 800 Knox?
I've not personally used those. I know they've got a lot more tones. They got a lot more discrimination.
Yeah.
From the Vanquish 540 I was using, certainly the depth getting a lot deeper, and it's a lot
Mm.
easier to discriminate what you're detecting. I think that's been the main thing. Also, that all the weight is a big change, because
Is it?
the Vanquish isn't that heavy, but after a day of swinging, do notice the weight. With the Equinox 900, there is a big difference in the weight, so you can keep going that a
Yeah.
little bit longer.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that's the most important thing, isn't it? Be able to do that sort of iron biasness. You can get the tones differently. I had a mate who started off on one of the lower end Garretts, and they just walked away from the hobby because they just couldn't. They were just digging iron all the time. They couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, so when you start off, it's not the way to go
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
You need to
I know.
spend a little bit. Yeah.
And when you're out then with your kit, do you tend to travel light? What have you got in terms of, have you got like a hand spade?
I I bought this kind of like military webbing belt. So I've got like the shoulder straps, which then link onto a belt, and then I've got, because there's five of us in the group, we get quite spread out. So I've got a walkie-talkie we always have with us. I've got the
Yes.
phone on the other side, so that's like the comms up here, sort of
Yeah,
easy to
yeah.
get to. Then yeah, I've got my Garrett carrot, and I've normally got my sort of digging tool. I use like the little Blackadder ones.
Yeah.
Gone through about four of those this year. If I don't have things attached to me, they just get lost. Um, I've also got spades. I've got the Blackadder. I think it's a Gladius, which
Yeah.
was great. I mean, they're solid. You could go into battle with those. Yeah, yeah. And then I've got also the Mine Lab spade, which is super
Mm.
super light. I love that, but that's a
Yeah.
bit tricky getting deep with that. I
Right.
found. Yeah, you can't, I think the spade bit's about that big. As soon as you want to
Yeah.
go deeper than that, it's a real struggle.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a struggle. Not good. Garrett carrot, of course, a favourite with folk, and then obviously it's bright orange as well. So if you do happen to drop it, you can see it hopefully in a distance. And you're obviously going to come across one day a horde of your own hand shovels in the field, since you've lost so many
I
of them.
spread all over Surrey, yeah, all over the fields of Surrey. Yeah, there's a little bit of me left behind.
That's it. A little bit of you left behind. I love that.
I was going to say probably for another detector is to find in another sort of 50, 100 years' time.
Wouldn't that be cool? In like 100 years' time, they'll be like, "Wow, I found one back in the day." They've all got like their laser soil cutters, which is tech of the future we don't know about
You
yet,
can
and they're
imagine,
finding
yeah,
this old thing.
robots doing it for them. Yeah.
So you mentioned your crew there. I think that's so cool. I can imagine, like, as a kid, it was the ultimate for me, the sort of walkie-talkie-ness. That would be so
Oh,
cool. So there's 5 of you, is there, at the moment? And how, obviously you went out with your gaming pals, Dungeons& and Dragons, by the way. Not got into that yet. We were talking, weren't we, on the chat about gaming, and me and my other half, we started playing some. Which ones we've got? We've got Ticket to Ride, and we've got Wingspan. Really getting into those games, like the turn-based games. We're loving it. But you and your crew went out, and I hate to ask obvious, but what made you plump across the Bearded Bleepers? Is it the obvious?
well, the obvious, but we were going to call ourselves the Surrey Swingers.
I might get confused.
Yeah, we had a short list of names, and Surrey Swingers was high up there, and we thought we almost went with it, but we thought we might not get many permissions if we
Yeah.
rocked up on someone's door and said, "Hello,
Oh,
we're the
I hadn't
Surrey
even thought
Swingers."
about that. Yeah, I was just thinking about the dodgy messages you might all get.
Yeah,
So the crew of 5 of you, and then I suppose that's really handy, isn't it? Because we often talk on the podcast about like trying to get permissions and how daunting it is and the different tactics. And sometimes it's when you know someone and that someone knows someone with land and it makes it easier.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
with you, the 5 of you, I suppose obviously, that cascades throughout, doesn't it? So do you think it's helped that way for you all to sort of share permissions then?
Yeah, so yeah, it is very tough, especially now getting permissions.
Mm,
I do most of the permission finding.
do
So
you?
yeah, I've taken that all on board. So the first thing you do when you sort of start detecting is you hop on Google Maps, don't you? And you have a look at all sort
Yeah.
of local fields and stuff. So I've got a few doing that, which has been good. You do have to be careful though, because the people who normally say yes to you have likely said yes to other people before. So you always
Yeah,
need
that's
to make
true.
sure you ask, is that land's been detected? And a lot
Mm,
of the time, it doesn't really matter if it has been, because you'll still be finding stuff, you'll still be picking
yeah,
stuff up.
it's never done.
Other things I do is got a flyer, which I pin that, yeah, so it's got a little bit about us and
Lovely.
a link to our website. I
Yeah,
pin that on gates and fences and stuff wherever I can when I'm out in the car. If I see that's the curse of being a metal detector, isn't it? When you're driving out anywhere, you're always looking at the fields. Nearly driven into a few hedgerows doing that. So the flyer goes out on gate fences. So we've got a couple of really good permissions from doing that.
lovely.
Other things we've done, I've got a few articles which have gone out in kind of community magazines and parish magazines. That's got us a couple of emissions. And yeah, and then just, people you might know, you get a few kind of recommendations and so forth. So yeah, so it's like a sort of multi-pronged attack, really. It's got to do quite a few things, and you'll get
Yeah,
for every 100 people you ask, you'll probably get one or two yeses. It's really
yeah,
quite tough like that, but you've just got to stick at it.
yeah, yeah. The more that ask, the more the possibility, like you say. I love your flyer approach as well. In all the villages around where I am, there's always a village little notice board type thing in one of those glass cases as well,
Yeah.
and people go and pop things in there. I did see a detectorist had put one in my local one. I thought, haha, good luck. Yeah, exactly. I
I'll rip it
didn't I
off.
didn't take it out. My other half was like, "Get out there!" And I was like, "No, let them fill their boots, but they're not gonna get my permission." So it was all good. Fantastic. So what does the hobby give to you? Obviously, you found the hobby, you've put a lot of years in already. How do you think it benefits you?
But the obvious is just getting out with your friends, isn't it? Just,
Yeah,
getting out to the great outdoors, scooching around. We spend we probably start our detecting day, I would have thought. It's not too early. We probably arrive at the commissions at around about 10 and leave at 5 when it starts, 5 or 6 when it starts to get dark. And we just have a really good laugh. I mean, we don't take ourselves too seriously. We get a good day's detecting done, but we also have a lot of larking about, a lot of banter.
yeah.
So definitely the mental health side of it, that side of it, it's great for that.
Mm,
Exercise is good as well. We could all do with a bit of that, couldn't we? And one thing I get out of it, which I really love, is discovering history. You learn history through metal detecting and the finds you make. So I like doing the research when I get back and going online and finding out all about the coin or the item. And then you sort of start filling in the blanks. But the more finds you get, the more you kind of
mm,
learn.
yeah.
That's been a really good one.
Yeah, it is fantastic. I had like very limited history knowledge, and I've spoken about it before. And when I was at school, it was all about World War II. Didn't really go into history, and I did geography then in the end. So you're right. Every time you find something, you can learn, can't you, as you go?
Yeah.
And even on the podcast recently, I'm doing these sort of midweek slices now, or mini episodes, and it's like this week in history. So any year back in history, and I try and find an event, and then even just through telling that story through the podcast helps me remember. I don't know about you, Murray, but my memory is not what it used to be. So sometimes things go in and
Yeah.
something else falls out.
Yeah. There's too much going in constantly.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, for sure. So you talk about learning history there, and obviously one place to learn history is when you go down your local museum. Now,
Yeah.
you and your group are taking this to a new level, aren't you? And this is how we
Yes,
got in
we have.
contact.
Yeah.
you let me know about this event. So tell me of the exciting exhibition you and your pals are putting on.
Well, it's kind of a story of two halves. As I mentioned, when you first start metal detecting, you jump straight on Google, don't you? And you're looking in local history. And one of the things I found out about was a sort of very unknown battle which took place locally. It's called the Battle of Eclea, and
Yeah.
I think it happened in 851 AD. You had the Vikings coming down the Thames, they ransacked London, and then they crossed over into Surrey, and they came up Stane Street, and then at the same time you had Ethelwolf and the West Saxons, and they were coming the other way down Stane Street, and they supposedly met in a place called Ockley, where they had a great big battle near Leith Hill. Now,
Yeah.
it's just a supposed site, but there's a lot of strong evidence pointing to that is where it happened. So I got really into that. I thought, wow, I love Saxons, I love Vikings. So I took a bit of a deeper dive into it, and I wrote a blog post on it, which you can see on our website. And that attracted the attention of the curator at the Shear Museum. She left a nice little comment for me about the post on the website. And that got me thinking, I wonder if they'd be interested in
Yeah.
showing some of our finds. So I got
Yeah.
in touch with her, and it was a yes. So I got along, had a sort of short sort of meeting with her, and sort of talked about what we did. And
Mm.
I seemed really excited. I went along recently, actually, just before Christmas, to their annual meeting where I did a little presentation. I took some of the finds along and showed it to all the sort of team and the volunteers there. And it's kind of built from there. So I've just literally put the stand in last Monday. I'm frantically pinning all our little finds to a board at the moment, which I've got to drop in this week. And then we're good to go. So it should be fantastic. It's a great little museum there in the town. Have you been to Shear before?
No, I haven't.
I think it's a doomsday-ish 12th century sort of town. It's got lots of oak frame buildings there, really, really picturesque. Have
Gorgeous.
you ever watched The Holiday?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was filmed there. So all the bit with Cameron Diaz and Jude Law, where they're in that beautiful pub, that old
Yeah.
pub, that's all filmed there. It makes a fantastic day out. It's really, really is picturesque and very pretty. And they've got a cracking ice cream shop as well.
You are selling it
So
to me.
I'll visit the museum and go and get a nice ice cream and a
We'll go to
lovely
the pub.
time in the pub.
I will be in the pub. No, I'm gonna go along, and it opens your exhibition sort of will be there when the museum reopens, and what date is that exactly?
It's the 14th of Feb, Valentine's Day. So
There
if you're
you
looking for something
go.
exciting to do, head down to
Yeah.
Shear.
Get down to Shear. And then also I think you're gonna sort of evolve it, aren't you, over time? You're gonna sort of cycle through different bits and
Yeah, so
pieces, is that
we're
right?
not going to keep it static. When we make sort of new finds, we're going to be swapping things around, putting those in. We've got
Yeah.
a video, we've got a TV screen on the stand as well, which plays some of our videos of finding the stuff we
Great.
get. So that'll be playing, we'll be changing that as well. So yeah, hopefully it'll be an evolving exhibition.
I love it, and I love the way it's, like, going into the community and you're building that relationship with the museum as well. There's obviously been a lot of talk about, the APPAG report recently and, the way that detectorists are finding all of these finds and the past report. They had the event at the British Museum a couple of weeks ago, and the amount of finds that are being reported by detectorists. So that relationship is building, getting ever stronger because people like you doing the right thing and then sharing your finds with the community. So I'm dead excited. I'm definitely going to come and see it.
Very, very much so. I think, it really it belongs to the people. I don't want to
Yeah.
sound too much like a communist, but it is nice for people to see what we're pulling up and the history of the land and people who came before. So I think it is a great thing to share.
Yeah, and get people excited by the hobby. Seeing your exhibition might inspire people to try the hobby themselves, might it? So that's exciting
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's a great segue, isn't it, onto the finds section of the interview. So I always love to ask people about sort of their first finds because we all remember our first coin, don't we? And then we all have our most fantastic find. And then I like to ask about the weird finds as well. So what can you share with us, Murray?
Right. So I'm going to go for my best finds. I'm going to go for something which isn't old or rare at all. I've got this. for those that on YouTube, I'll hold that up.
Yeah.
Okay, so that
Oh,
is a woman's land army badge.
that's so cool.
And I found that, so it was a really, really hot day, and I'd been detecting like the whole day in the field. And I thought, I'm just going to sit down for a little while, have some water, cool down. And then
Yeah,
when I got up, I give where I was sitting a little swish with the detector,
yeah.
and got a really good signal. And that's what came up. And it just
Oh,
makes you think, you know, it was like 80 years ago, there was probably sort of a young woman sitting there working the fields. You know, 'cause that was the
yeah,
woman's contribution during the war, wasn't it? They worked the land and in the factories. So
yeah,
she'd probably been sitting there 80 years ago, doing exactly the same thing, getting shade under the tree, probably having a bit of lunch or something. And I just thought
yeah,
that's a fantastic connection because a lot of the time with the older finds like your hammer coins, Roman coins and stuff, the connection with the person is quite often lost, isn't it? It's hard to sort of
yeah,
imagine that person dropping that. But with this, the connection still, you know, it's present. It's within living memory. So I love
yeah.
that. Um, and
Amazing.
then I've got another one, which is a similar story. And this was, so again, I hold that up. That's a 5 war coin, Dutch
Oh,
coin.
yeah.
And it was found in the same hole as this, which is a Royal Air Force button.
Lovely. Yeah.
So I found these in near Dunsfold Airfield next to it, and the position we were on, it had a couple of World War II bunkers which were used by the airmen. So that was, you know, obviously dropped by one of the airmen, and I went and I thought, coin is a bit of a strange one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not something you sort of expect to pick up. So I thought I'd go back and do a little bit of research on that. And I found out that stationed at Dunsfold was, I think it was medium bomber number 139 wing, which were all Dutch pilots, bomber pilots. So
Right.
you
Yeah.
can imagine that, you know, one of them was probably sheltering there, dropped it,
Yeah.
there you go. Sadly, most of them got shot down from what I've read, so not many of them survived. But that's another lovely story because, you know, it takes you back to a specific event, a specific time. Love it.
That's it. Yeah. Near me, there's an airfield, and I found an Australian Army cap badge. And then I
Oh
know
yeah.
there was one regiment that came in for like not long at all, and I found a photograph of them as well. There was probably about 25, 26 of them. So I was kind of looking at them and thinking, "Wow, this belongs to one of you lads." There, it was amazing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
so it's
those
special.
love those connections, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Excellent. So they're awesome. I'd love to find that Land Army badge. What was your first find? Do you remember your first really good find that you were like, and that sort of captured you forevermore?
Yeah, we start because I think we were quite unlucky with our permissions to start with. We got land which really didn't have much going on it in
Mm.
terms of history. So we were pulling up just your standard sort of George the
Yeah.
Sixth coins. Then we got a bit of land which was just the other side of the Surrey Hills. And then the first cool thing I got from there was a part of a Crowser bell,
Yeah.
which was a lovely find. And then I found a medieval dagger pommel, a teeny little thing. I thought
Mm.
it was like a bell or something. I had no idea what it was. It doesn't look particularly like a pommel, but
Mm.
it went off to our flow, and he confirmed it was a pommel, and he's got a date of early medieval on it. So that was a nice way of getting that.
Special.
It was something sort of out of the ordinary, really.
Yeah, really rare. Yeah, I've not heard a story of anyone else finding one of those yet. Brilliant. Excellent. And have you, as a group, have you witnessed some amazing finds as well?
Yeah, so we've had like Roman, had a nice Anatinus, Pius, Sestertius, quite big chunky one. Several hammers. Recently, we found in one field we found two Edward VI silver shillings within
Oh,
paces of each other. Found at completely separate days. So we'd
yeah,
obviously done the area, then we come back and done it again, and
yeah,
that fell under the Treasure Act.
yeah.
One, I believe, is being purchased by the Dorking Museum, so that's
Nice.
going there, and the other one's going to be going to Shear, so you'll be able to see it there. But yeah, that was a nice moment.
Yeah. putting the two together and being like, right, now we're reporting this. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Always nice as well, again, going back to the museum and people will be able to see it, which is fantastic. Anything strange then? Anything strange on your detecting travels?
We did a bit of land, which was it's got a connection, or it's got a connection, or it's owned by the modern day Druids, and
Oh,
we were pulling up some weird stuff there, like strange necklaces with funny bits and pieces on, and
yeah.
bracelets and jewelry. None of it like expensive or old. It was all a lot of it was plastic, but we reburied all that because I think it might have been buried for sort of ritual reasons. So that
Yeah,
was quite a
yeah.
strange one. Yeah,
Yeah, that's good and sensitive as well for the people that put it there in the first place. When we had our magnet fishermen on, they often pull out a lot of things that people have thrown into the water, and obviously it's an offering depending on the religion and that. And then when they do that, they also return it in because we're not to move those sort of things, aren't we? That is
yeah.
interesting. Lovely, good stuff.
I gave magnet fishing a go once and pulled out one of those like Hindu coins.
Yes.
Yeah, so what you're saying, those kind of like ritual offering things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That they'll throw in when they've lost someone or someone's ill or, they're struggling in some way. Yeah, it's always good to return those back, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got a lot of years under your belt now, and we have a lot of listeners, people that haven't started the hobby yet, or like we spoke about earlier, might be struggling, to find their groove. Have you got
Yeah,
any tips for beginners? What would you say would be your best tip?
I would say slow down. That's something I found um, more recently, actually. My detecting style is head for the hills. I'm as soon as I normally, when I get to my fish, I'm off in a line and I go,
Olympic walking?
yeah, yeah. But I think, what works better is a more sort of methodical, staid approach. We've got one chap, Michael H, in our group, and he very much does that. And it's quite interesting at the end of the day to see the kind of quantity of finds each of us find. There's a couple of us which are sort of like head to the hill style, and then he's kind of plodding along. Probably doesn't
Yeah.
go too far from where he starts, same spot, and he'll come back and he's got like a handful of stuff.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's something to be learned by that, and I think when we get going next year, I'm going to be taking more of that approach.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be there waiting for you in the ground, isn't it? And especially when you're
Yeah,
returning to the field.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good experiment, actually. I like that. There's people that go off quicker and then people, like you say, that are a bit slower. I think I'm gonna naturally end up going slower. Needs must with the old back.
We're all getting there, aren't we?
We're all getting there, definitely. Now I'm off in, so I found, my silver unit a couple of weeks ago,
I
and
saw that in your Celtic unit. Yeah,
yeah, oh my gosh, couldn't believe it when I
what a
found it.
find! No.
Unbelievable, and
So
plus with the
that's a bucket lister, isn't it?
it is, and I just didn't even expect that I would ever find one of those, and then I did, obviously. And because of where I'm located and because of the Alton hoard that was found in '96, I'm like,
Yeah.
right, usually I go into a field, have a day in a field, and then I go to another field, and then I go to another field. So I'm actually like really going for this field until they seed it for the harvest, this year's harvest. So I'm going for it. Been in twice now? Yeah, twice now. So in tomorrow, come rain or shine, I'm determined, despite it being very, very muddy right
Well,
now.
you're a brave lady. It's
Um,
a mud bath out there, isn't it?
Big old mud bath, and it's a quite a steep hill actually, this
Yeah.
field. And at the top, surprisingly at the top, it was worse actually, and it kind of run off in the middle, and then the bottom was bad, as you can imagine. But yeah, I'll usually move around fields, but this one I've got my so I've been using Detector Maps, the app, to do the tracking.
I saw, but
I'm gonna grid it. I'm gonna really give it a good go to cover a lot. And it's so funny because you spend all those hours and you think you've done a lot, and then when you look at the sort of, they call it the breadcrumbs,
mm,
where you've been in the field, you've not even touched a little bit of it, not even a percentage of it, even though you've been digging for 4 hours.
I
So
know it's
yeah.
scary, isn't it? You think you've done as you say, you think you've done the field, but no,
Yeah, yeah, nowhere
it's like
near.
a quarter of it, if that. Yeah.
I might do that as an experiment one time, actually go into a field, put the tracker on and literally just go up, down, up, down. See how long it takes me to do like a 50-acre field. I'll try. I'll let you know what happens.
Fingers
Okay,
crossed.
so yeah, I love that. Slow and steady for the newbies. What's on your bucket list then, Murray? What haven't you found yet that you would really love to find?
I'm a buckle kind of guy. I love buckles.
Ooh. Yeah,
Any Saxon buckle, any Viking buckle, that would do me nicely.
yeah, lovely. The detail on them as well, right? I love the
Yeah, yeah,
variation in the
yeah,
older buckles.
yeah. You certainly you know it when you pull one of those out of the ground if it's got all that
Yeah.
lovely kind of sort of decoration
So
around it.
beautiful. Yeah, exactly. So I was gonna ask you about your favourite history period, but I think I'm getting it is the Viking or the Anglo-Saxon stuff, right?
So yeah, my favourite period in time is Richard III. He's had a bit of a bad rap, I think, in history.
Yeah,
I think most of that's come from when he lost the Battle of Bosworth. Tudors did a real hatchet job on his sort of legacy and all about
yeah.
him. But I think he's fantastic because in the Battle of Bosworth, he saw Henry VII up on a hill, and he
Mm,
went charging across the battlefield
yeah.
in a few of his knights. Fortunately, it didn't work out too well for him because he got betrayed by the Stanleys at the last minute,
Ugh.
and that's when he got kind of like hacked down and killed. But
Mm.
yeah, fantastic. I think he was the last English monarch to be killed in a battle as well.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, love that sort of guts and glory
Yeah,
chart you put on.
yeah. Bravery. Can't
Yeah,
imagine the sounds and the smells of that sort of time and that battle. You can kind of imagine like muddy, the sound of the hooves of the horses and yeah, just unimaginable, isn't it, to think?
yeah. It's like a real Game of Thrones thing, the sort of the charge and then somebody being betrayed at the last minute by someone. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Such bravery as well. Just to be able to be like, right, what are my chances here? Especially
Well,
when you're on the very
bravery
front
or
line.
stupidity. Not sure
I
which
don't think
one.
they had a choice. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, wow. Is that what was it him that was buried in under the car park in Leicester?
Yeah, it was in Leicester. Yeah, they dug
Under
him
the
up.
Ara car park. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, it was quite an interesting one, wasn't it? Because they weren't 100% sure where he was, but
Mm,
they dug on a spot, and then the spot they dug, right, he was right there. Yeah, they
right
didn't have to like
there.
search around; they found him straight away. And they also
No.
found that it was interesting because they could tell by the injuries. He had like loads of like spear marks and stab wounds in his bones and stuff all over. So they could tell
Yeah.
how he met his demise. It wasn't pretty.
Not pretty,
No.
savage. And then it would obviously, like you say, it would be a big PR campaign and to sort of smear the name, but also to like put the fear into people, this is what will happen to you. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
there's an amazing documentary on that. I'm not sure, it might be one of the Channel 4 ones about Richard III and when they did get them out of the get out of the car park. And then yeah, they do show all the injuries. I haven't watched that for a long time. You've reminded me now. I'm gonna watch that very
Yeah,
soon just to
I
remind
was watching
myself.
another interesting one. I think it's on History Hits,
Mm.
and it was about because Richard III is kind of blamed for the princes in the Tower and having them off.
Right.
But it,
Yes.
it turns out that they'd gone to France. There's quite a lot
Was
more
it?
they know were in France, the two princes, so he didn't. Um,
There you
so yeah,
go.
it's kind of like a story sort of written against him, really.
Yeah, exactly. The guy that killed 2 princes. Not
Mm.
at all. Interesting stuff. Oh, that's good. So you really do have a love of history, don't you, across all of the eras, but that's your
Yeah,
fascination
I
point.
flicked it on my granddaughter as well, unfortunately. Our bedtime reading at the moment is Oswald's History of England, and it's
That's
it's
fun.
3,500-page tome, and we've
Yeah.
done about 120 pages over the last, I think it's over the last 3 weeks.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
cool.
flicking history on my granddaughter, hoping to get her interested, and she's picking up
Love
stuff.
that.
But
Yeah. It's so important, isn't it, at that age as well? Any of your kids or your grandkids come along with you detecting at any point?
Yeah, my granddaughter Bella, yeah, she's been out with me a couple of times. She's on one of our videos actually. I did a little special where she came out at the back of the Downs. We've got an old World War One training camp there, and we were
Yeah.
putting soldiers' buttons and coins and all sorts. So I'm hoping she's going to get the bug for it. We've got some more
Yeah.
adventures planned.
Yeah. We need some more females in the hobby. Get those
Definitely.
statistics up. I think I was doing some stats the other day on listeners of the podcast, and it's gradually going up from when I first started. I think it was 74% guys, 26% ladies the other day. So it's steadily growing because I think it was down at 11%. Yeah, just and you notice it as well whenever I go out on group digs now. Lots of lady detectorists out and about, which is great to see. Great to see people from everywhere out and about. So Murray, I always ask people, when you're going off on your dig and you get in the car, I assume you have to drive to your permission once in a while. What tunes do you put on the radio to get yourself in the mood, get yourself pumped for the day?
Well, I've got an old Jeep and the radio doesn't work, but I do have a Bluetooth. I do have a Bluetooth speaker I take with me. So,
Yeah.
um, old school English rock. So Iron Maiden, Motorhead, listen to that.
Yes.
Yeah, gets in the mood, get the blood pumping.
Certainly does, yeah, gets you excited for the day, and then,
Yeah.
me on my return drives probably calmer tunes. I'm just like, "Oh, I need to chill out now. I need to have a rest." Fantastic. And when you go out, do you take yourself a little banquet for your lunchtime break? What do you take out with you in terms of snacks and
Yes.
drinks?
Snacks and drinks. So it's going to be a Snickers bar, probably two of those.
Good choice, I
I've
love a
got one of
Snickers.
those metabolisms where I just suddenly crash. So I have to
Yeah.
get myself topped up with sugars and salts and stuff. So yeah, a couple of Snickers. I'll probably chug one of those horrible energy drinks like a Monster or something sort of on the way.
They're crazy them, they're rocket fuel,
Instead,
aren't
very
they?
watery. Just like a ham and cheese sandwich, packet
Classic.
crisps, that.
Nice. And what crisps are your favourite crisps?
Oh, Walker's paprika.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, I love
Yeah, they're
paprika.
lovely.
Yeah. Paprika Pringles are my favourite Pringles, but I don't actually really like Pringles. They're one of those snacks that I'll eat and then sort of regret it afterwards and be like, "Why did I waste my calories on those?" Once
Yeah,
you
you
pop,
have
you
to
can't
choose
stop, as
wisely,
well.
don't you? Yeah.
You do, you do. That's another thing with aging, dear listeners. You have to think about your metabolism and what you can get away with eating. Otherwise, it just ends up straight on your stomach, that's for sure. What you got coming up then, Murray? Obviously, you've got the exhibition. Are you
On the
going?
exhibition, as I mentioned, we've just had a couple of articles come out. We haven't started detecting yet this year. I'm just getting over some weird kind of like 48-hour bug thing I've had.
Oh, no.
Mini virus. And a
Yeah,
couple of guys are going out tomorrow. I was going to join them, but I think I'm
yeah.
really wise and missed that one
Better off
out.
waiting. Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're kind of looking to get back into it. But it's been so wet, hasn't it?
So wet. It's just awful. It was frozen. There was a millisecond of good weather, and then it's just been rain, rain, rain. I read today that in Aberdeen, they've now had 14 days without seeing the sun at all
Oh,
in
that's
Aberdeen.
right.
It's just like, oh gosh, that's horrible, isn't it? And I don't know how many days it's rained in a row now down here where we are. It's endless. But tomorrow's meant to
I
be dry.
drove out to a couple of missions last weekend, actually, just for a little meet
Yeah,
around. It's just absolutely sodden. When you
it
start
is.
seeing lakes in the middle of fields, you know you're on a
You
losing
know,
battle
there's
there.
trouble. Exactly. It's It rained a bit this morning, but I do think it's gonna be dry. And I sort of on Thursday, because I sort of text my farmer and say where I'm gonna be on which day, just so he knows, make sure he's not planning on doing anything. I was like, "Which day? Which day?" And looking at the weather forecast, Sunday dry. So I got the permission. He was like, "Yeah, all good." And then literally it must have been like the next morning, the whole weather report had changed, and I was like, "Oh no, but I'm gonna go
Oh,
for it anyway. I'm gonna go for it." Turn into a mud monster, no doubt. Come home. I don't know about you as well, when I come in the door, it is literally like I am, some kind of beast coming through the door, and my other half is like, "Don't go in the kitchen,
yeah,
take everything
absolutely
off."
covered in mud. Yeah.
Oh, we're so used to it, aren't we? That's the funny thing. So let's talk about your different, channels where you and the group are situated. I mean, you mentioned you've got a website, and I think you've got a
Yeah,
YouTube channel.
most of our stuff you can find on our website is beardedbleepers.co.uk. It's kind of like a hub for everything. You find all our
Yeah,
links to our socials. We've got a blog on our website. We post our
brilliant.
latest videos on our website. There's a bit
Yeah.
about us, and we've also got an online museum. Um,
Amazing.
head over, take a look at that. Most of the stuff we found so far is on there. I like to do sort of a little bit of history write up on what
Yeah.
the find is and its context within the land. So that can be a
Mm,
fun read.
fantastic. That's great. And, what's your handle on Instagram? You on, yeah, you're on Instagram, aren't you? And Facebook?
Yeah, I think it's all Bearded Bleepers. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. So everyone can go see you. Great to hear about the online museum. I wasn't aware of that. I'm going to go check it out.
But yeah, have a look. Yeah, we've got lots of good stuff on there.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I've got lots of bookmarks. I've got folder, metal detecting. And then within there, every time you find that object, you're not quite sure, right? And you're like Googling away trying to find it. And then you find a gem of a website like yours where you can then go and have a look and see if anything familiar is there of what you found and the history. I was trying to research one of the buttons that I had, and I found, came across this website with all of the buttons that had been created with all the different livery buttons and all of the different designs, and then you can kind of track it back to a family name, or it's just fascinating, isn't it, to be able to go off down.
There's lots of rabbit holes you can go down, isn't there? You spend days in front of the computer.
Yeah, just going. Oh. Yeah, I found a really amazing button, and it was a family crest. So I take ages and ages trying to find the family crest, and I've been reverse image searching via the
Oh, yeah,
Google. Google's quite good for that. But
yeah.
now with AI is here to stay, unfortunately, folks. So we've got to sort of use it to
You
our
said you started
advantage.
uploading pictures to ChatGPT and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah, and it
amazing,
will
isn't it?
quickly find you lots of similar examples, so at least points you in the right direction easier, you know?
Yeah.
So that's been a bit of a game changer. And also I've had a coin with not a lot of detail, or a Roman coin where you can't really make out who the emperor was, and then taking the picture and putting it through the AI, they can see the details if it's a nice zoomed in picture that
What an
you might not
enhancement for you.
necessarily seen. Yeah,
Yeah,
and they'll suggest something, and then you can go off and do your research and check if their idea is right or not.
yeah, that's quite a good idea.
Yeah, try it. Yeah, it's really helpful.
Mm.
Saves you all the hours going through, and I'm gonna give it a go. As I've got behind me on the finds board behind me, all of my hammers I've ever found. And I've got a couple of older Eddies or Henrys that, I can't quite make out or can't quite see the mint mark, so I'm gonna see if it can
Ah,
help
good
me
idea.
identify them. Yeah, yeah, it's good. It's like I say, it's here to stay, isn't it? So we just got to work out how to use it to best help us. That's what we're gonna be doing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Murray, thank you so much. That time has absolutely flown. I can't believe we've been talking so long already.
Yeah,
Really
that's very
excited
nice.
to come down to the Shear Museum on as from the 14th of February. Not sure if I'll be there on the 14th of February. Not my other half's idea of a nice Valentine's out, but I will be there as soon as possible to come down. I can't wait to see all of your wonderful finds down there. So everybody go check it out. Go check out Maori and all of his different locations, YouTube channel with the Bearded Bleepers, and see what they've been up to in that online museum. Sounds fantastic. And thanks ever so much for coming to speak to us today, Mary. Really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
your
Can
time.
I give one shout out?
Yes, do it.
I'd like to say a shout out to Ray and Steve at Adventures in Finding Stuff. They've got a fantastic channel. They do magnet fishing, they do bottle digging, they do mudlarking, and they also do metal detecting. And they've
All
been
the
recently
fun.
making some really fantastic finds. So I'd go and check out their YouTube channel. That's
Yeah,
It's really good to watch that, and they're knowledgeable guys, and they're quite fun.
yeah.
Well, we've been out with them a few times actually. So
Have
it's sort of,
you?
yeah, getting out in the community, it's been good, and we've enjoyed our time with them, and hopefully they've enjoyed our time with us.
Oh, need to check them out. I need to get them on the podcast as well because they're like they do
I
all of
did
the
I
things.
did mention to Ray that it'd be good for him to come on because he can talk for hours about anything, and he's very, very
Great.
passionate about history. So maybe I can give you
Yeah.
an introduction.
Go on, Rag. You know you want to come on. Come and talk to me. And also shout out the rest of your crew as well. Do you want to give a shout out?
Yeah, so we've got Jan, Ashley, and the two Michaels. So they'll be watching this when it comes out. I should also say hi to Marsha at Shear Museum, the curator.
Yeah, of course, Marsha. I hope to bump into you one day when I'm there. Well done, and it's so great again that that's happening. can't wait to go see. I'm excited. Thanks
Yeah.
again, Murray. Lovely
Yeah.
meeting you, and hopefully we'll get you on soon again.
Looking forward to it.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.